Well, my name is Erin, and I've been coming to Bethel for 3 years now, and I am going to give my testimony today. My life all through high school was pretty cookie cutter to that of a teenage girl growing up in a Christian home. I went to church, went to Bible camps, and was also part of the praise team at my church. When I was 14 is when I started getting serious about my faith, and God revealed to me that I had to have my own relationship with Him, and so that's when it all started to become real in my heart. But then during my senior year of high school, I started to drift away from an intimate relationship with Christ and started ignoring Him in a lot of areas of my life. I graduated from high school in 2004. Got married in 2005 and had my first little boy Wesley in 2006, followed by Charlie in 2008. All the while drifting away from Christ and becoming overwhelmed with the hidden hurt in my marriage, getting to a place where I felt hopeless. In 2009, like I said, I began to come to Bethel. I fell in love with the people and felt genuinely cared about. I got involved with MOPS, small group, and praise team rather quickly and loved being an active part of the church. What I didn't let people see was that I had struggled in my marriage for a long time and was carrying around a huge amount of hurt. I was experiencing different kinds of abuse in my marriage, and after years of suppressing it, all of it started to take a toll on me, as well as my relationship with Christ. I became depressed and began to have no sense of self-worth. I quit seeking God on a personal level and expected to get all of what I needed from Sunday morning church. My marriage continued to crumble, and in 2010 I was going through the process of divorce. I began seeking things that I thought would give me value and acceptance. I began walking down a very unhealthy, reckless road of sexual immorality, as well as drinking and living in complete rebellion. I was hoping so badly for these things to numb the pain and the hurt that I experienced in my marriage, and hoping that somehow this would allow me to feel more in control of my situation. Very shortly into all of this, I met with several people that I trusted here at Bethel and brought to their attention what was going on, and at the same time stepped down from roles that I had in the church. It was a humbling experience for me, being brought to a place where I was the one who had to accept help and guidance. Even though I had people keeping me accountable, I continued to walk down this path, and eventually it all became too much to carry. The weight of my sin and baggage from the hurt in my marriage was too much, and God began breaking my heart. I started coming back to church more regularly and began seeking out godly advice and wisdom, and I'm so thankful that the people at Bethel welcomed me back, even though I was a broken mess. The process of healing and recognizing my mistakes and taking ownership of the things I did wrong has been a long one. I'm continuing to work through my personal struggles with the help of counseling, as well as an amazing family and church family. I'm proud and thankful to say that I serve a God that never stopped pursuing my heart. Through all this, I have learned that even though I have struggles, and even when life seems hopeless, that God is bigger. I never thought that I would have a story like I do have, and I'm still not completely sure how God is going to use all these things to bring Him glory, and I may never know. But I do know that through this I've realized what a merciful, forgiving, and loving God I serve. About 9 months ago, I asked God to break me down and to take away the pride and bitterness I was still harboring in my heart from events and decisions in my past. I remember specifically praying that God would break me gently. And I know that one thing, my idea of being broken down and God's plan of breaking me down are not the same. He's began to teach me about being completely submissive to Him and to trust that His grace is enough even when I don't understand it. I can't make up for my mistakes or take back choices that I made, but I can trust that I have a God that is big enough to redeem all those areas of my life. Making the decision to be baptized was not easy for me, and it's still not something that I'm comfortable with doing. But if it brings glory to God, then that's all the reason I need. We as Christians are not called to live comfortable lives. In John 14 it says, "Those who love me will keep my commands." We are called to follow and serve Him. Being broken down is not a comfortable thing. Giving my testimony in church was not on my top 10 things to do, but apparently it was on God's. I want to encourage us as a church to be receptive to God's voice, to take time to examine your heart and go out of your comfort zone and do the hard things. I also want to encourage people that are out there that feel that their life is shattered and remind you of the story in the Bible about jars of clay. You might be completely broken and shattered, but if you're willing to be broken and brought to the place of being a pliable piece of clay and letting God knead out the imperfections, He can and He will make you new. You may not look or be the same as before, but God can take broken things and make them into something more beautiful than they were before. I'm not completely restored, and there are a lot of things in my life that are still undone, but I am so thankful that God has not left me unredeemed. I'm completely forgiven through the power of His blood. One thing I know is that I have fallen in love with a God who loves me so much more than I will ever be able to grasp or comprehend. That's all.